Let resolution be your solution.
Of course, it occurs to me that some people out there, there's a lot of issues around black and white choices in life, sort of thing, with regards to limitation of choice. I mean, this guy, Noam Chomsky, I had no idea who he is. I mean, clearly he loves his garden or something, I'm not sure. I mean, he talks about limitation of choice. I mean, it's utter nonsense. I mean, we have a situation here where it's like comparing apples and oranges. Someone said to me, and I thought to myself, nonsense. I mean, there are grapes and bananas and all kinds of other fruits, including pineapples and all sorts of exotic fruits you've never even heard of, like guavas and other things like that, and coconuts, if they're a fruit, and tomatoes. Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable item? I mean, that's a discussion for another day, We haven't got all day to talk about these. More or less, actually, we've got quite a significant chunk of time. Now, the thing is this. I think you do have a choice. I think you've always got a choice. So, personally, I'm not a big fan of the orange. Basically ends up all splattered all over the room. And regarding the apples, I mean, they have pips in them, and some people like to peel them before they eat them, and there's a whole mess of alternatives and choices regarding those. Now, banana, that's a whole different thing. I mean, it comes in its own packaging. It's easy to deal with. You can have it in a bowl with some milk and a sprinkling of sugar, and make yourself a lovely little dessert there. Now, you might have a different opinion about these fruits, and I'm happy to discuss that. Usual telephone number, give us a call, okay?
Mike Sand taking your calls.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
Now then, it's an interesting topic from my point of view, because when I was young, I used to work down at the shipyards, and one of the first days that I was down there, we worked for an 8-hour shift, without no breaks, and got through the whole day. We were meant to be tough in those days. I worked down there for many a year, and it was hard graft, but, you got a sense of satisfaction out of it, and achieved something at the end of the day, and you were contributing to a big industry. I mean, my lunch, I'd get go down to the fish and chip shop, get me some fish and chips, and go back and eat them sat on the wall outside, And we used to look across at the office, the office girls. We used to think that they were outside our league, And so we used to, keep pretty much to ourselves. And I don't mean anything suspicious with that, but, weird or anything. But in an afternoon, we'd stop and have a tea break. And one of the lads, he suddenly turned up one day and he's got some coffee with him, and I thought to myself, my God, what's he doing here with his coffee? Is he a Londoner or something, So it confused me a bit, that. Anyway, I thought, a couple of days later, he's still having the coffee, and I says, here, give us a taste of that. And so he did, and I thought, my God, this is horrible. It's worse than brown ale. Anyway, I acquired a good taste for that. But, it took a while, obviously, because everybody drinks it at first, it tastes horrible, spit it out, But anyway, I had this coffee, and I thought, right, maybe I ought to write myself a film noir script or something like that, now that I'm a sort of a middle-class individual, having had a cup of coffee,
Well, we certainly did get into the realms of choice there. I mean, that's probably filtered coffee or instant coffee that our caller's talking about. I mean, how's it going to affect his social climbing status if he discovers ground coffee? I dread to think he may be standing for Prime Minister or something like that.
No, man, for my money, you can't do better than the tea the monkeys drink and a jam sandwich. But now that's living all right.
Pardon me there, I didn't realize you were still there. I thought the kettle had boiled and you were long since gone away.
Mike Sand taking your calls.
Well, we've got tea and coffee and various sorts of fruit allocated into its proper constituent ingredients and preferences. Now it's over to George. We'll get his take on the same subject.
Yes, hello, Mike. It's a long time since you've spoken. I just thought I ought to try to broaden the discussion, really, to things that are a bit more substantial. For instance, this is a constitutional democracy in this country, and people, when they make a choice and give us power to rule them, to implement their wishes as we interpret them, For example, when I was in office, there was a road widening scheme in the area where I have my visitor attraction, and some of the road surfacing material we used to improve the car park outside, and it's improved things for everyone. So everyone wins in a situation like that. The road is wider and safer, and the attraction was more easy to patronize. So, it's a win-win scenario, really.
So you're saying that when people vote for you, you implement the will of the people, as you might say, in a constitutional way?
Well, sort of. We listen to what they want, and since most of it's contradictory, we make a decision about what's better for the community in our esteemed, experienced opinion, and then we enact that, And we used to hold surgeries. We listened to the public as they came in, and I say listen. I mean, most of it was, tittle-tattle and that kind of thing. So we could disregard the vast majority of it, and but sometimes there'd be a good idea which we could take credit for, and so which we could take. Sorry, a slip of the tongue there, which we could take forward and improve the area for everyone.
You do kind of worry me there about interpretation. I mean, you're proud to be the so-called greatest democracy on the planet.
Excuse me, I'll have to go. I seem to be tying myself up in knots here, but what I'm trying to say is that choice is great, this country is great, and my car park's fantastic,
Okay, well, you seem to be a very busy man. I'll let you get on with your day. Our next caller on this tangled subject of choice and aspiration is Arthur. Let's see how he can elevate the conversation even further.
Now then, Mike, I was thinking the other day, I can't understand this. Maybe you can clarificationalise it or something. I don't know. It's all a bit of a mystery to me. I bought myself a tin of beans and a tin of soup, right? A tin of soup, both by the main famous company. I won't name them because obviously everybody knows who they are. And that's what brings me round to the problem. I found the tin of beans incredibly presumptuous in the sense that it did not explain what you were supposed to do with it. In other words, how you were supposed to cook them, or whether you're going to eat them cold or whatever it is, with a spoon or a fork, nothing, right? Whereas, on the other hand, the tin of soup had very clear instructions of what you're supposed to do. And I thought to myself, what is it about the beans that's so smug? Anyway, I'll leave it with you. Keep smiling.